Hey guys, it's Robin, RsIslandCrafts. This is Talk to Me Tuesday for Tuesday, January 23rd, 2018. I've been playing in the sewing room a lot this week. I went ahead and I worked on another one of my UFOs. If you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you'll have seen this already. One of the online quilting groups I'm in does, they do a lot of swaps. I knew at the time that there was no way my blocks were going to pass the, they call it, like, I don't know, the swap mama or something. So if you didn't pass, if your seam allowances weren't a perfect 1/4 inch, if your blocks weren't exactly 12 and a half or 6 and a half or whatever they had to be, you'd go into the briar patch and you wouldn't be allowed to swap or anything until you learned your lessons or something. I don't know. But it's kind of really strict, and I understand why, and I don't have a problem with it. But I knew that my blocks weren't going to pass muster. So I just went ahead and I made the blocks for myself, and I used these fun pastels. They were originally 6.5 inches. What I decided to do is I trimmed them down to 5.5, and I just made the centers just a little bit off center and a little bit wonky just for fun. That way if there were any problems with the blocks, you wouldn't notice because they didn't quite line up, because none of them line up. I used this fun fabric for the back. I figured it was about pastel-y colors too, so I guess it's like buttons and ribbons and stuff like that. It's really fun. I used a very pale yellow for the quilting. Just free motion quilted all around in whatever design, you know, nothing specific, nothing crossing over, just that type of whatever it's called. When I was first playing with this, I thought it'd be fun for a baby, and I guess it still can. It's about 25 inches square, and I thought, well, you know, I guess it could be good for a stroller or a car seat or something. But looking at the pastel colors, I was thinking it'd also be really good for a wall hanging or a table topper for Easter. Because, you know, Easter pastel colors. It'd be really nice just to hang in a baby's room too, just to add a little bit of brightness. So that's my long-term UFO number 2 for January. So I finished the butterflies and then this one. I love pastels and all, but I think this one will probably be better for someone who's decorating for Easter a little bit more than I do, or for a little newborn baby. Now, the rest of my video I've already pre-recorded, and you'll see I made these coin pouches this week. I couldn't quite help myself. When I start to make one of something, I always say I tend to make more and more. These are so quick to make that if you're going to make one and you're going to get the machine and the zippers and the iron and everything else going, you may as well do assembly line and make a bunch of them, right? I think my favorite is the Moose and the Zeldas. These are the ones from Robbie's hoodie. And the inside lining is also from the inside of his hood. But bright and colorful on black, that's always a favorite of mine too. Some of these fabrics have been in my stash for way too long. They're just little bits. They're 6 1/4 by 4. The Zeldas are a little bit bigger. I made them 6 1/2 by 4 to start with. The little wiener dog, he's got a little cut off, so he's a little bit smaller. But yeah, so that's one of the things I did this week. Hi, big girl. Hey, Whiskers. Hi, pretty. The cats think that these tables are theirs. They really like that the ironing table is set lower than the regular table. But, you know, cats, they own the house. And these, with the little kitty tail, are my oops. As I'm going, sometimes things just don't quite work out right, and I get to keep the oops. Like, this fabric is a little too close to the zipper, so it's a little snug when you're zipping it, so that won't go in the shop. I was using gray thread, and it wasn't thinking, and it didn't show. It showed up too much contrast on the black, so I just colored it in with the black Sharpie, so that one works for me. I just didn't like the way these turned out, because with the fusible stabilizer in there, the interfacing, it just, you know how it just makes everything wrinkly, and you can really see it on a solid fabric. This one has this little schmutz on it, so that one can't go in the shop. And this one, I believe there's an issue with the line. Yes, I'd run out of I think I'd run on a bobbin thread or something, so on the inside there's the line on a yellow lining is not very smooth, so you can see a start and stop, so that won't work either. Hi, big girl. Hi, there, big girl. Hi, there, big girl. I guess I went a little crazy on coin pouches. I just can't help myself. When I start sewing, I just tend to sew a lot of something. Unless it's quilts, and then I just make a lot of squares. Now, other than my knitting projects, I only have one thing that I have planned for next week, and here's a separate video. This week I went ahead and I started cutting out all of my pieces to make a rare bear. Now, my goal was to only make one bear this week. I wanted to test out the pattern, see how it looked, see how it felt. You know, I didn't want to do my normal, let me cut out 15. But I ended up cutting out almost enough for 2 because I forgot. When you're cutting out like the arms, you need a left arm and a right arm, not 4 left arms. So I had to cut out extra pieces. I keep forgetting to flip the pattern. What you do is you put your paper, normally what you do is you take your fabric and you fold it right sides together. You put your pattern on the wrong side, you trace it, and you cut it out, and you have 2 mirror images. But when you're making a scrappy bear, you have to remember when you cut out 2 arms this way, you have to flip it and cut out 2 arms the other way, so you have a front of the arm and a back of the arm, so they work together. Because you take them and you have to sew them together this way. So you have to have them a right facing and a left facing, not 4 left facings. So I had to cut out some extras, and I had to just make sure I had plenty of everything. And while I was at it, I cut out some extra ears too, just because the ears are small and they're easy to cut out of the scraps. I cut out the arms and the legs before I realized my mistake. This fabric I found in my scrap bin, it's really fun. What I think I'm going to do with the rare bears is I think, since it took me a little while to get going because with the holidays and all, and you have to order these special for the pads of their feet. It's the rare bear fabric, and there you go, the rare fabric. So you have to use that on each bear, and you have to order it. I ordered 1 to start with just because I know myself, and then after you turn this first one in, you can order as many as you want. But what I was thinking to do is to keep myself on track and not to use their resources, because, you know, this costs money to print this. I don't want to use up their resources and not send them the bears. So what I plan on doing is I plan on getting one of my little tubs and just randomly keep cutting out all these different bears from my scrap fabrics as I'm putting away my stuff. And then when I'm ready, I can just randomly pull fabrics out to make a bear. So if I already have everything cut out, there's a higher chance that I'm going to actually sew whatever project it is. Like when I'm doing my quilts or purses or anything, I like to cut out all the fabric one day, and then I come back on a second day or another day and I sew them together. So if I have all my scraps already in a bear bin, kind of like that, a bear bin, then I can just pull them out and make them. So then I won't feel bad if I've already got the fabrics cut or actually make the bears all except for the feet parts, the legs, ahead of time. I have to look and see how the pattern works. I might just have to wait and make sure everything's cut out. Then I don't mind ordering 5 or 10 of the bare feet, because I know I can, then it'll be a higher chance that I'll actually sew the bears together. Because when I have to think about pulling fabric and matching pieces and ironing it, you know, and all that work, then sometimes I decide to just knit socks instead. So I'm figuring if I have a bear bin or a bear bucket, something like that, then with all the pieces cut out, it'll be easy. I just pull them all out and go. So I think that's what I'm going to do, because I really want this to be my service project. I want this one, and then there's a local place here that you make, they provide a stuffed animal, but you make a little quilt to go with it, and they actually provide you the fabric. So I want to see how I can rearrange my schedule so that I can do both service projects. I want to do this one that goes in the mail, and one that I just have to drive 3 miles up the road to deliver. So this is one of the things I want to do this week. I want to at least make the one bear, see how the process goes. I have to watch Rob's video again to see how the bear goes together, so I don't have to actually read the directions, because they're confusing. like the hoodie. And then that way I can see what I'm getting into, and I know if it's a project that I can actually handle. Because I know the little mini quilts I can do no problem, because they're just doing, they just cut out a bunch of squares and they just do, what, like 4 patches or whatever like that. So I want to make this my main project for this week. Since I've done my 2 UFOs for January, I should be able to slide this in no problem. I honestly tried to only make 1 bear, but like I said, I just forgot to reverse the patterns, so now I'll have plenty for extra bears. They won't go to waste. Now I say the only thing I'm planning on working on is the bears, but I still have my big basket full of UFOs, and I'm thinking about pulling another one out and starting it up, maybe getting a head start on February. That's it for me. See you next week. Bye.